Reports everywhere are claiming that the three finalists for Roki Sasaki are now the LA Dodgers, the San Diego Padres, and the Toronto Blue Jays? The Toronto Blue Jays are really finalists in this ahead of the Yankees, Cubs, Mets, Rangers, and Giants? Well, each of those teams were informed that they are out of the running. But here's why I believe Toronto is just as out of this as those other five clubs, and this is simply down to a two-horse race with the Dodgers still the overwhelming favorites. First off, every insider that is reporting this doesn't have a real explanation as to why Toronto is in the running. Are they a competitive team? No, they're probably at best fourth in their division. Do they have the most bonus money to sign Sasaki? No. For the time being, they have as much as San Diego, which is about average. Do they have other Japanese players on their roster or a high Japanese population in their city so he can feel more comfortable in his new environment? No and no. Toronto has half the Japanese population as Southern California, and flights from Toronto to Tokyo are more than 2 hours longer. Can he earn more money from endorsements and other opportunities in Toronto? First off, let's remember athletes pay higher taxes in Canada. Yes, even more than California. And then when it comes to endorsements, no one is going to make more than Shohei Ohtani. But maybe companies want to do a campaign with all three Japanese Dodgers. Those can happen. If you're just a guy in Toronto, albeit Canada's largest city, can you really expect to make more in sponsorships there? I don't think so. And Sasaki's most important factor: does Toronto have a history of or the ability to develop pitchers to maximize their talents? I mean, is it really true that Marcus Stroman was Toronto's most recently successfully developed pitcher compared to Clayton Kershaw, Walker Buehler, Kenley Jansen, and the list just goes on compared to the top Blue Jay pitchers? And why is it that this is so important to Sasaki? Well, remember, he's not really making much money for the next 3 years. And even for his next 3 arbitration years, if he's not bringing it, he won't make a ton more. I mean, the reason Shohei Ohtani got his $700 million contract after his 6 years with the Angels is because of his performance. Sasaki, at 23, is still developing, and if he doesn't develop properly, he might never get a sniff at a major contract, even a fraction of what Ohtani got. And with nothing in the bank to start with right now, he really could be in a bit of a bind. So he needs to succeed over these next 6 years. So knowing that, is Toronto really the place that you'd want to go? But then, why is Toronto considered a finalist if it really makes no sense for Sasaki to end up there? This is the power of being a top 3 agent in Major League Baseball, which Joe Wolf is. There are a lot of favors that go on behind closed doors in Major League Baseball that the public never actually ever hears about. Much like there are times when pitchers decide to groove a pitch over the plate for certain liked hitters on special occasions for the good of the game. I mean, Cal Ripken Jr. is one of my favorite players of all time, but he really just happened to hit home runs in both the games that he tied Lou Gehrig's Ironman streak and also the next day when he broke his streak. Okay, I mean, pretty big coincidence, and I'm a big fan of Cal Ripken Jr.'s. Players even know that this goes on in baseball. So what could this deal be in Toronto then, and why make it? The Blue Jays have been taking a pounding in free agency as of late. They've been in the hunt to sign a few high-profile players, but ultimately have not succeeded. What they don't want is to have the resources to sign players, but players constantly turning them down time and time again for other things like taxes, or lack of a competitive team, or players not wanting to play in Canada. Toronto has been in a free agency rut. So, I believe Joe Wolf did a solid for Toronto's front office, maybe Mark Shapiro or Ross Atkins. First off, he got Sasaki to fly to Toronto because he's going to be in the area anyways, and he goes to listen to their pitch. And who knows, maybe they wow him, and now he's actually a happy client. But even if it ends up just being a formality, like I think it is, the Blue Jays have now raised their image to other potential free agents like Anthony Santander or Alex Bregman or whoever. The Jays were linked to Sasaki as a 3-team finalist. Even if they don't win, it's a favor worth calling in. So then, what does Joel Wolf get out of this? Well, it could be him paying back a favor that he owed for maybe another client in the past who wanted to be traded, or it could be a favor that he keeps in his pocket for the future when maybe a borderline player needs one more season to get his MLB pension. I mean, there are, again, lots of reasons that favors are given and received behind closed doors in Major League sports, and they're most visible when things don't make sense. And every way you dissect the possibility of Sasaki choosing Toronto, it simply doesn't make sense. Every expert will add that to their story of these 3 final teams. Could I be wrong and Sasaki actually does choose Toronto? Sure. But I'm definitely not wrong about favors happening in Major League sports. I know this for a fact. And this situation, again, smells of that to me. But what do you think? What percentage do you give Toronto of actually landing Sasaki? And if you don't think that they have much of a chance, why are they considered a finalist with the Dodgers and Padres? Leave your thoughts in the comments section below and let's discuss this. Also, like the video, subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with the next handshake that takes place behind closed doors.